Hey everyone, I'm here to do Scorpio today. Cancer's already up on the channel. This is also great if you have eighth house, Pluto or Mars really close to your ascendant, like 5 degrees. And also Aries rising tends to sometimes because of that Martian energy. So again, whatever Scorpio placements, and also if you want to cross watch, and sometimes you just never know what'll come out of my mouth. If you're here, you're probably here for a reason watching. So, and I'm Susie. I'm a trauma-informed astrologer and metaphysical practitioner, you know, all that good stuff. So let's check into Scorpio for the remainder of December and into January. When I do these readings, I'm checking into energy. If love comes up, but a lot of times it's about where we're stuck. So let's look. Okay. I'm going to leave that sideways because I like to honor sideways cards. Oh, okay. Using the centennial anniversary of the Rider-Waite. So this is kind of a celebration to the original Pamela, right? Pamela Coleman Smith. She illustrated these. So there were 4 that just never made it into the original Rider-Waite deck, and they are in here. And so we've gotten one of those for this reading. The 8 of Pentacles, and it's sideways, along with the 5 of Cups in the upright. What is kind of like the gossip card in the bonus cards, and the Ace of Wands. Scorpio, this feels like using work as a distraction or busyness, whatever you have to do to keep your mind off something that you feel passionate about. But you're also listening to other. I don't think you're approaching this very Scorpio like. I don't. One, I feel like you feel like you're probably have been working for not a lot of results, which is annoying to you. Like somewhere along the lines, you heard somebody say, like, oh, you have to do the work, whether that meant healing work or, I mean, I really feel like this is working on yourself. So you're working on yourself and you're trying to rise above, and you have been rising above, and you're doing all the things that all the people say that you need to do, all that bullshit. And I feel like you feel like you're spinning in circles a little bit. There's some kind of grieving or sadness here with the 5 of Cups. But there's also something that you're not taking a chance on that you know you feel passionate about. And with the card of, this isn't just about gossiping, but when we look at this card, we have 2 people that one looks very fine. This is like the Queen of Pentacles, and this is, although a little earthy hippie, this is more like the Queen of Cups here. So these 2 energies are having a conversation. You could be choosing between what feels safe, stable, and what you actually want. If I'm being honest, Scorpio, let's get some clarification. It feels like you're grieving something you haven't experienced yet. You're grieving so much and you're holding so much. You're oof. You're holding so much in memory, in pain, that You're listening to the voices that say you can't have that. You're listening to signs and signals, might be social media, because it's less of a gossip game, right? Nowadays, as the gossip is what we're interpreting on other people's social media. Are they back with that person? Are they with somebody new? Are they single again? Are they not? Because, I'm always saying this. I've been saying this for years, but I'm not a fan of the pretending energy. Like, pretending you're with somebody new to make somebody jealous. Pretending, you're out with, when you're out with a friend and but it looks like maybe you're on a date. Um, because I get it. And I used to be that person, right? Many years ago, but like when we put all of that effort into pretending something that isn't true, what we do is cohesion, quantum physics, we attract pretending energy back to us. And what can often happen is the next person that comes in, or the person you were trying to get back in, isn't going to be fully honest or not know how to be honest with themselves. So, I mean, if you're in my community for a while, you probably heard me say, like, I'm not a fan of doing that. But the truth of it is that a lot of people do. I feel like you're either looking at their social media or you're gathering from their, wherever you're able to get proximity to them, that they're so happy and that there are signs that there's got to be somebody else. There may not be room for you. For some of you, this is just about your own happiness. Wanting to go do what you want, but what you want to do, like, feeds into everybody's perception of you. And we're talking about Scorpio, right? I'm the bad guy. You're everybody's scapegoat. You wear your wounds on the outside. So you're hard pressed usually to find a Scorpio that at some point didn't get boundaries or hasn't had some trauma manifested. We all behave informed to our trauma, right? Whatever happened, and trauma doesn't have to be cataclysmic, lifetime story, movie worthy trauma. It can be, I mean, honestly, in the study of trauma, we find that more low-key, hidden, no one can see it, no one intervenes, kind of sustained trauma as a child is more damaging to the brain and to self-esteem, to all of those things that trauma can harm, than one big giant incident that everybody else would think is movie worthy. It's usually the non-movie worthy stuff that we don't address, and that it creeps up. This feels like your stuff, whatever that may be, either keeps you from pursuing this person or thing that you want. Part of this is stability, this conversation between this kind of Queen of Cups and Queen of Pentacles. It may feel like one choice is everybody's going to be like, you're nuts. And the other choice is what everybody wants you to do and what you think you're supposed to do now to disprove all the theories of you, not only to other people, but to yourself. Like, let's get some clarity on this. I'm really interested to clarify that. I mean, the work is definitely the Eight of Pentacles sideways. This is definitely you spinning your wheels, and also trying to keep busy as a distraction. I don't think that you feel like you're allowed this thing. Why don't you feel like you're Four of Wands? Scorpio, what did you do that you think that you're not allowed the divinity of, like, the divine right for joy and happiness and that thing that makes you feel whole, whether that's a person, a relationship? I just feel like you're doing something that you always did and that people expect you to do, but it's not really what you want to do. Oof, let's move you out of this. How do we move? How do we move Scorpio out of this? Again, this is 8th house placement too. I said, let's move. And we got the Chariot. So we have the 4 of Wands and Chariot. You could be dealing with a Cancer too. That is Cancer's sign. And Scorpio and Cancer love each other like peanut butter and jelly. This, let's get, how slow do you want to be, Scorpio? Slow and suspicious. Okay, so we have a Queen of Wands. We have more than one. We have 3 queens here. You're good at the Queen of Wands stuff. Scorpio doesn't have to be a fire sign to be good at fire. It's Martian ruled. It's Mars. Rules the reproductive area. You're very good at the wands stuff. What's expected you is the pentacles, and what you want is the water. You want to give in to that nature. Oh, 9 of Pentacles, real slow. That horse isn't even there. They're just sitting there. That 9 of Pentacles almost looks like the Fool. Can you turn it into something? Can you mature that energy so that you can have the nurturing? It's the nurturing you don't feel like you deserve, or is just something that you get in this lifetime. Like, that's just not something life is tough, and the nurturing can make you so soft. Not that soft is bad. You probably encourage other people to be soft. If you're listening to this and you have kids, you're probably, you want to prepare them for life, but you want to make sure that they are heard and seen, and that they know that their feelings matter. But I don't know that you give that to yourself. We talked about this in the last Scorpio reading. Scorpio sometimes likes a little hair of the dog of the trauma. So you'll want, because transformation is everything, right? So you want to transform, and you do. You always do. And you make sure that you hold the light for others in the dark. And you will, if you have children, or if you just help your friends, or if you're in a helping profession, because Scorpio often is psychology, that kind of thing, mental health work. I think that you give that so freely and so beautifully to others, but for some reason you feel like that's just not part of your path. And for you to hold the light and the dark for others, for you to walk through the fire while you yourself is on fire, and you have buckets of water for others, you can't do that if you're soft. While you encourage others to be soft, I don't think you allow that to yourself. I could be wrong. Let's see where this is going. Give us the card for, like, how does Scorpio move out? I mean, the Chariot is there, the 4 of Wands is there, but you're going to have to move yourself, Mr. and Mrs. Fixed Energy. Okay, Wheel of Fortune. Okay, let me tell you something. When we get these 3 cards together, pick them up. We get these 3 cards together, right? So you have the Fates, the Wheel of Fortune. See the slices in there? We have the Chariot. And the Chariot, this is a fierce Chariot, right? These horses are in love with each other. They're the light and the dark. They acknowledge, they accept each other. They understand the coexistence, right? That is a fierce ass chariot bitch right there. um I mean, we have this with the Fates card and then the Four of Wands. And it's interesting because, we have the 1111, we have the divine celebration, but this Four of Wands card is really not. Feels like an obstacle between you and this person. We cannot get you. You're like very close together, but not close enough. The Fates and the Chariot. Again, a lot of this is just Scorpio. Why don't you think you deserve it? Of course you do deserve it. Why don't you think you deserve the same nurturing that you give out to others? I'll just put up a meme on my personal page that says, if your life was tough and you think it should be equally as tough for others because you turned out just fine. If you suffered and you think others should suffer because you turned out just fine, you indeed did not turn out just fine. Scorpio understands this. Scorpio doesn't want other people to suffer unless you have really, really done them grimy or done somebody they love grimy. Then maybe they don't mind if you suffer a little, but that's just human nature, right? Yeah, I want you to move out of your way. This Mercury retrograde, I mean, we had a new moon in Sag, which is in conjunct your sign, yesterday, and we're going into a Mercury in retrograde. And I mean, this is a good time for you to reach out and at least get real information. Don't go off of the voices in your head that tell you that you can't. Don't go off the voices around you in your environment that tell you you shouldn't. And don't go off what you're assuming from social media or anything else like that. Don't do that. By the way, this is a very Scorpio inspired background. So I hope all my Scorpios like that. One of my Scorpio moon people looked up the aesthetic that I said, because I fed this into an AI because this is just what I felt like. My Pluto on my ascendant can make me very Scorpio. And they said it's called dark academia. And I was like, oh my God, I'm so in love with that. And that also feels very Scorpio. Yeah, I could sit here and tell you to examine why you feel that way, but I'm sure there's a million reasons. I'm sure life has shown you a million times that you don't get to have those things, but you get to decide. At any time, you get to decide and say, that's not how it ends. And I know it's scary, but you do scary well. Stick your finger in the fire to make sure you're still living, right? That you're fully alive. So you do scary well. It's just that you do scary when it's hurting yourself to make sure you're still alive. So let's do scary when it means something good will come. Let's do that. Let's do that. Figure out what you're saying to yourself to dissuade, discourage, and code switch that. Just pick one word this week that you say to yourself, like FML or of course, or yeah, I don't get that, or any of that. and code switch it for that's coming. It's coming to me. It's owed to me. Right? Not expectations, because I talk about expectations all the time in water signs. But start code switching in your head about what you actually do deserve. And I swear it's that nurturing you give to everyone else. Okay. All right. Bye, Scorpio. See you soon.